For years, like I said, people ask for answers. And now you're coming out with the answer. 32 years after. And people are wondering, why did it take you so long? Why didn't you speak at that time? Even as of the time, there was a time you spoke, you said you were not even sure this man won this election. And then 32 years after, you're saying all the information available to you, all the things you have seen, you have no doubt that this man won the election. And we're supposed to do what with this information? But when they were now ready to admit, they want to still make money out of the information, which is by selling the information to Nigerians through a book. Welcome everyone. My name is Osih-Oyelude. So yeah, you can see I am not in my usual studio, so bear with me. In a couple of days, this is where I'll be filming from. So yeah. Okay, I'm just going to go straight to the point about my topic of discussion, and it's about the book recently released by former head of state, General Ibrahim B Babangida, popularly known as IBB. Now, this book is particularly very important to a lot of people because of this man's role in history, especially political history of Nigeria. I'm talking about IBB, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. So he recently released a book in Abuja. The ceremony attracted personalities, former vice president, current president Tinubu, the former president of Ghana, captains of industry, governors, they all converge in Abuja for this book launch. You see, the history of Nigeria will be incomplete without the mention of IBB. Whether for good or bad, it depends on the side you're in. This man played a very important role. So you see, 1993 is arguably one of the most challenging times in the political history of Nigeria. That was the year we had one of the elections adjudged to be the freest and fairest election in Nigeria, which is now known as the June 12th presidential election. At that time, IBB, I'm just giving a little backstory here for those who would not understand why this man is very important to a lot of Nigerians, especially politically. So, 1993 presidential election is one election that kind of shaped the political trajectory of Nigeria. You see, I remember this thing so faintly as a child, but I remember that there was this, the atmosphere was tensed at that time. I was in primary school then, but I remember then because there was this jingles from these two major political parties that was, that rocked the airwaves then. For SDP, that's MKO Abiola's jingle, it was MKO Kinky Bay SDP Action, Abiola, Abiola, Abiola Progress, right? So, and Kinky Bay is the running mate of Abiola at that time. That was when we first of all had the Muslim tickets, right? So, for NRC, TOFA is the answer, TOFA. So I faintly remember these scenarios, but one thing was really clear: it was a very chaotic time in Nigeria. A lot of people, the future was so unclear. It was military regime that we were in then, so nobody knew what was next. They knew that they had an election that a lot of people already knew, it was free and fair. So it was the discussions that followed on much later in the years up until this moment that a lot of people are finding out a lot of things. So the election was between two major political parties: the Social Democratic Party, SDP, whose flag bearer was Chief MKO Abiola, and the National Republican Convention, NRC, whose flag bearer was Bashir Othman Tofa from Kano State in the northern part of Nigeria. So these two Nigerians were at the forefront of, it was between both of them who was going to be the president of Nigeria at that time. It was a very chaotic time in Nigeria's history. As a child, thinking back now, I remember there was a lot of like turbulence. There was a lot of there was just a lot going on in Nigeria at that time. Price hike of things, strike here and that. People were just so scared about, the future of Nigeria. You see, there are four major actors in this political movie. The first, Chief MKO Abiola, who is the presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP. We have Bashir Othman Tofa, who is the presidential candidate of the National Republican Convention, NRC. We have the umpire, Chief Humphrey Musu, who is like the INEC, boss. And then we have the head of state at that time, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. So these are the people who played a huge role in that presidential election of June 12, 1993. Now, amongst these four people, there's only one person that is alive, and that is the main person, IBB. So for years, like I said, people ask for answers. And now you're coming out with the answer 32 years after. And people are wondering, why did it take you so long? Why didn't you speak at that time? Even as of the time, there was a time you spoke, you said you were not even sure this man won this election. And then 32 years after, you're saying all the information available to you, all the things you have seen, you have no doubt that this man won the election.
Although I am on record to have stated after the elections that Abiola may not have won the elections, upon deeper reflection and a closer examination of all available facts, particularly the detailed election results, which are published as an appendix to this book, there was no doubt that MKO Abiola won the June 12th elections. Upon closer examination of the original collated figures from the 110 polling booths nationwide, it was clear that he satisfied the two main constitutional requirements for winning the presidential elections, mainly majority votes and geographical spread. Having obtained 8,128,720 votes against Tofa's 5,848,247 votes, and securing the mandatory 1/3 of the votes cast in 28 states of the Federation, including Abuja.
And we're supposed to do what with this information? What does it change? Does that now automatically make this man, who the Nigerian people gave a mandate and was denied by you or people, under your watch? There's an attempt to push everything on Abacha's head, but whatever it is, you were the head of state. Are they just going to let this just go like that? Okay, you said sorry. Okay, you regret it. If given the opportunity, you'll do something better. If this, that. To what end? So there is no sort of punitive measure like to anybody. The information you're bringing out, you're selling a book. The same thing Mr. Humphrey did, sell a book. The proceeds from this book that you guys are selling, are you going to give it to the families that you denied justice? Or the families that their parents were unfairly held in political detention, and in the process their parents died, and then their lives turned for the worse? This book that you're selling, is any proceed going to go to the families? That is one way to start. The proceeds, something has to go to the family. Because it's not okay for you to come up, because the catch is, by the time you say MK Abiola won, people want to buy the book to say, at last he has agreed. It's much more than just coming to admit that he won the election. What next? Because this man we're talking about now is late. You cannot give him back his mandate. The mandate that was given to him. No, this man lost his wife in the process. This man's family, they just, scattered and started fending for themselves. These are people who had like a father who was doing well, and all of a sudden, you took their father away from them for no reason. No good reason is given till today. All we hear is what it was annulled in the best interest of the country, of the nation. What is that best interest? What is the reason why we went for an election? Somebody won, and then even where the other candidate came from, the northern part, this same man that MKO, by the way, is Yoruba, the Ottoman Tofa is from the north. MKO Abiola, who is Yoruba, won in some major states in the north. So what was the best interest? There was nothing to collide, because even in the man state of Kano, MKO won there. Is it that there were some, like a handful of people that just didn't like the fact that he won the election, and they are the ones that is in their interest, not the interest of the people? Because now I'm just like, it's just not okay to say, okay, he won, I agree that he won. You're writing in a book, but and then like, let's go and sleep. Okagbasha, let's go home and share the grace. Like that conversation, we should end it now. I've accepted he won, then everybody go home. Not just like that. Are there not going to be laws to guide against things like this? Even one of those that suffered from your persecution of those days is now the current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So there should be some sort of, like there should be some sort of like punishment. I don't know. I don't know the kind of punishment that can be given to him, but the punishment doesn't have to be like imprisonment or something. There should be some. It doesn't have to be imprisonment. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that, but there should be something. There should be something that he has to part away with, like to the family of Chief MKO Abiola. Even if they've granted him GCFR, which is Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, the title only given to past president, has been conferred on him by former President Buhari. There should be more. There should be more. That book, the proceeds, you should think about what to do or what to give to the family of Abiola. Even the man in question, adjudged to have won this election, Chief MKO Abiola, was taken and was in detention. He was politically detained. Why? Because he was fighting to get back his mandate given to him freely by the people. In the process, he lost even his wife, Kudirat, who was at that time also trying, when her husband was, in prison, she was outside trying to, fight for her husband's release and for the mandate to be given back to her husband. In the process, she was assassinated. So you see why this is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people. Why? Because Nigerians ask these questions, and 32 years, you're coming out with a book. Now, the information you want to give us, you're now selling it to Nigerians through a book. And that was the same thing that the umpire at that time, Chief Humphrey Nwosu, did. I think in 2008, correct me if I'm wrong, he brought out a book. The book was titled, let me get the title of his book, Laying the Foundation of Nigeria's Democracy, My Account of June 12th. That's the book written by Chief Humphrey Nwosu, who was the INEC chairman at that time. And in that book, he said, I think the book was released in 2008. And in that book, he said MKO Abiola won the election. So these two people, when they were now ready to admit, they want to still make money out of the information, which is by selling the information to Nigerians through a book. Now, this is a case of justice delayed is justice denied. Now, it's like when they get to a particular age in life, is looking like, okay, what do they stand to lose? Like more like a penance kind of thing. Let them free their conscience. Obviously, IBB may not be in the best of health, right? So what does he stand to lose? Because of course he knows that by the time he says this thing, you're not going to arrest him. You're not going to do anything to him. How do people pay for an atrocity committed? Because this is an atrocity. Not only did you deny Nigerians of a president that they chose by themselves, you denied the whole country. You denied the man, MKO Abiola, the mandate freely given to him by Nigerians. So we're just going to sit down and hear, I take full responsibility. It was under my watch, so I take full responsibility. If you go on social media, a lot of Nigerians are upset. There are just like, really? You'd have just gone with this, like, let it go. Like, go with this information when it's time for you to go, like your creator calls you. Just go with this information. Because it doesn't change anything. What? Okay, then what? Then what? What does it change? In his book, he said, okay, that he's even happy that, thank God, former President Buhari eventually granted him that honor, granted MKO that honor of Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, more like a way to douse and subtly take care of the issue. But does that make him a former president? No. And why? You denied him that opportunity. You see, my opinion, what he did is no big deal. Okay, you released the book. Okay, fine. I think it's just somehow may, and the key word here is may, give some sort of closure to maybe his family, maybe to some Nigerians who sought answers for years. But now, does that change anything? No. No. So how do we make people, when they do things, because then anybody can just wake up and then they know that years later they will say they are sorry. How do people pay for injustice done to people? No, I'm not sitting here to say he's a bad person or a good person. I don't know. Because let me tell you, the worst person to you might be the best person to another person. So that is not my point. We are all judging him based on this particular episode in Nigeria's history, which somehow he also denied himself that place in history as the only person who have conducted the freest and fairest election. You had the power to say, no, this man won this election and it should be given to him. After that, for those who do not know, so when the election was annulled, an interim government was put in place. The interim government of, he's also late now, Chief Ernest Shonekon. He became the interim president for about a few months, and then there was another coup. Well, a bloodless coup anyway. That was when Abacha came in. And this is the same Abacha that they are, trying to, say he was part of those who caused the annulment of June 12th election. So you see why a lot of things, when you see some things happening in Nigeria today, sometimes trace back. There was always a history of where it started from. Now we are still struggling in our electoral process. We are still struggling to get it right. There was an option A4 then that they used. It was a two-party election. There was a lot of things that they put in place that made that election to be adjudged to be one of the freest and fairest elections. Most of all those things, we are not even applying them in the election of today. So that's why our election is, anyway, face. So that would have, you see, if that template that they used, if we had seen it to the end, by the end, I mean having a president from that election, that would have been a standard for us. But now, that election as it died before, you know, it even came to be. So we don't even have a good example. We only continue to say, I judge to be freest, I judge, okay, it was the freest, but then they didn't allow the person who won to rule. Now the two candidates, MKO Abiola is late. Osman Tofa is late. But you see, that singular incident of that time has reshaped our political years. That is one scar in our political history that will never go. That is one scar. Agreeing that he won. Okay, then what? Well, anyway, the only good that may come out from this is that maybe those who are really invested in this issue about June 12th might get some sort of closure. Other than that, this information, it doesn't change anything. And it was better off, you know, not admitting because it doesn't change anything. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And let's have a conversation. Whatever you think, let's continue in the comment section. But that's it. I see you again in my next video.